call 150,000. Number, sir, please.
21.
21, thank you. Okay, lot number 9, ladies and gentlemen, again. We've got flat 520 at Bridal Mount. Again, 54 square meters, slightly larger. Again, you've got the same ladies involved here, practically 2,200. It's a kitchen, lounge, dining room, 1 bedroom, and 1 bathroom. It's tenanted on a month-to-month basis, 5,380 per month is the rental on a month-to-month basis. Again, Bridal Mount, centrally located, to the beach facilities, amenities, and things like that. Any questions? Again, you're purchasing it totally free of any encumbrances. All right, will make me an offer, please, for the unit, flat number 705 at Bridal Mount. Let's go.
120.
120. Thank you, sir. At 120,000 opening bid. At 120 I have. At 120,000 bid is 120, and I'm setting at 120. Subject confirmation in 7 days. At 120,000 I have. At 120. At 120, can we see 130 anywhere? At 130. At 130 anywhere? At 120,000. It's for nothing, ladies and gentlemen. 130 I have. At 130, 140. At 140. 150, sir. 150 I've got. At 160 here. At 160. At 160,000. We have a family meeting. At 160 I've got the front here. At 160, can I say 170? Yes, 170. 180. At 180 I've got here. At 180. At 180, 185. No. At 180,000 bids in front of 180,000. At 180,000. No further off than 180. I'm selling for the first. At 180 for the second. Third and final call. All out. Sold to the last buyer, buy number 21. Okay, lot 11, ladies and gentlemen. The industrial property at Hine Lane Jacobs. 10% commission. It's vatable. All right, so if you have to buy it with a VAT insured, 0 rated. 98 Hine Lane Jacobs. Again. Sorry?
There's 3.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sorry. Good job, people. Yeah. All right, that was flat 520. All right, good sort. I want now to flat 705. Okay, 42 squares. Again, probably about 2,200 for your levies and what have you in the rates. It's tenanted, and you have a monthly rental of 4,200 rand per month. It's an open plan kitchen, lounge, bedroom, and 1 bathroom. All right, it's a sexual title bachelor unit. Unit 705 flat. All right. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen, in respect to this? You can see it's been tastefully redecorated. Okay, let's go. Make me an offer for the unit 705. 100 opening bid. Just keep on looking at you. 100,000. At 100,000 I have. At 100,000 I'm selling at 100,000 rand. Opening bid of 100,000. At 100,000, which button? Back left. 125. At 125 I have. At 125. 150, are you there, sir? At 150. Yes. 150 I have. At 150, the bid is against you. At 150, the bid's in front of you. At 150. At 150. The screen's gone very quiet. Don't mind bidders. At 150,000. 160, sir. 160. 170. 180. 190. 180, are you in? 180 I got, yes. 180 I have. At 180, 185 if you wish. 185 I've got in the front. At 185, 190. No, negative. At 185,000 I'm selling. At 185 I'm selling for the first. At 185 I'm selling for the second. Third and final call. Sold 185,000. Thank you. 521. Excuse the voice, ladies and gentlemen. I had a long auction in Johannesburg yesterday, so. Lot 11, 98 Hine Lane Jacobs. Excellent industrial property. Again, the subject industrial property is centrally located within the industrial business zone of Jacobs. Subject property, the industrial property comprises 2 floors with separate access to both levels. The ground floor, you've got office suite, 160 squares. You've got a workshop, 740 squares, reinforced floor, X-panel kitchen business, 3-phase power. You've got a basement level with the workshop at 930 squares. First floor offices, 52 squares, with a mezzanine at 85 squares. The extent of the site is 901 squares. Monthly rate, 17,523. The lease, there's no lease, the property is owner occupied. Okay, and in respect of this, if can the buyer take vacant occupation, or can he enter into a lease with the current
Vacant occupation.
Vacant occupation will be guaranteed in respect of the property, ladies and gentlemen. Are there any questions prior to us commencing? Or this property in Jacobs? Alright, who will make me an offer, please? Jacobs properties are few and far between to come on the market. You've got an opportunity here to get a footprint in here. Again, 98 Pine Lane, Jacobs. Alright, let's go. Make me an offer. Anyone interested?
Million.
Beg your pardon?
2 million.
2 million I have, an opening bid of 2 million rand. At 2 million rand, there is a 2 and I'm selling a 2. At 2 million rand. 3 I have. At 3 I've got there on the left at 3 and I'm selling at 3. At 3 million. 4 I have. At 4 million down the screen. At 4 million I have it there. At 4 million I've got on the screen here at 4 million rand. At 4 million rand, ladies and gentlemen. At 4 million. 4.5 I have them at 4.5. At 4.5 million, the bid is at 4.5. At 4.5, the bid is on my left on the floor. At 4.5 I have. At 5 on the screen, scarce you, sir, at 5 million. At 5 million. Where can you get a property in Jacobs at 5 million rand? It's for nothing. At 5 million rand I have. At 5 million. Subject to confirmation within 7 days at 5 million rand. At 5 million rand. Can we see 5.25 anywhere?
5.1.
Thank you. At 5.1 I have on the screen. At 5.1 the bid is at 5.1. Can I say 5.2, madam, it's against you? At 5.1 I have. At 5,100,000. 5.2. You're shaking your head. Negative. At 5.1. At 5.1 I have. At 5.1. What about you, sir, at 5.2? Can I get you back in at 5.2? May I get you back in? No. Good opportunity. It's an all-time low. At 5.1 million I have. Subject to confirmation. Can we say 5.2 to anyone? At 5.1 the bid is at 5.1. I'm saying at 5.1. At 5.1, ladies and gentlemen. Subject to confirmation. At 5.2 I've got. At 5.2 the bid is at 5.2 and I'm saying at 5.2. At 5.2. 5.3, sorry, you with me? At 5.3. 5,200,000. Pardon? Bid of 19. So, Mr. Rajat, can we say 5.3? He's gone.
No.
No, you're out.
I'm out.
Thank you. Not even at 5.25. At 5.2, I'm selling for the first. I'm selling for the second. Third and final call. So 5.2 is file number 18 now. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, lot number 12. It's a residential property in Silver Glade, Chatsworth, 46 Delitzia Road. Again, there's been some confusion on this. Basically, there's been some alterations done internally. All right, there's been no extension to the property. You've got various units on this. It's owned, it's family occupied at the present moment. Units of a value of 839,500. Excuse me, 1253 squares. Again, it's centrally located within Silver Glen, a suburb of Chatsworth, within close proximity to the clinic, Chatsworth Clinic, healthcare, shopping malls, a nice little satellite shopping centre in close proximity to it. Alright, the ground floor, unit 1, you've got a board-footed kitchen, lounge, family bathroom, single garage. Unit 2, you've got a fitted kitchen, lounge, 2 bedrooms, main ensuite bathroom. Lower level, unit 3, kitchenette, lounge, 2 bedrooms, bathroom. Unit 4, 2 bedrooms and bathroom. Unit 5, kitchen, lounge, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Unit 6, kitchen, lounge, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Monthly rates, $951. The seller is not a VAT vendor. Property is tenanted. Unit 1 is 1,500 rand per month. No rent for unit 2. Unit 3 and unit 4, you've got 1,500 a month as well. Unit 5 and 6, you've got 800 rand per month. Okay, all on a month-to-month lease. So you've got 1,600 there in the basement. Here we are. And 3 and 4, 5. You've got 6,100 at the present moment on a month-to-month tenancy. All right, you either can give them a month's notice, re-tenant it, or occupy it on your own if you are the successful purchaser. Again, you're purchasing it totally free of any encumbrances. Thank you. All right. Are there any questions, ladies and gentlemen, prior to commencing? All right. Who'll make me an offer, please, for the property located at 46 Trevitzia Road, Chatsworth? Let's go. Who'll make me an offer, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone interested? Anyone at all? Can we say 200,000? At 200 I have. I don't need a bit of 200,000, but it's 2 and I'm selling it to. At 200,000. Excuse me. At 200,000 bid. At 200,000 bid is at 2 and I'm selling it to. At 200,000. At 3 I have. At 300 the bid is at 3 and I'm selling it 3. Don't lose the glove, sir. At 300,000. At 300,000, can I say 4, sir? 4 I've got. At 400,000 the bid is at 4 and I'm selling it 4. 450 I've got. At 450 the bid is at 450 and I'm selling it 450. At 450, can I say 5, sir? 5 I have. At 500,000 the bid is at 5 I'm selling it 5. At 500,000 the bid. At 500, 550. At 556, are you there? 575. I'll help you out. Don't do that, do that. At 550 I have on the right, at 550,000. Can we see 575, ladies and gentlemen? For a property in Chatsworth, I have 550,000. 550,000, I'm selling for the first. 550 I'm selling for the second. 575 I have. At 575, so it's against you, and I've got 575. At 575,000 I'm selling. At 575. At 575, can you say 6? Yes or no? I'm selling here at 575. At 575,000, I'm selling for the first. 575, I'm selling for the second. Third and final call. Sold at 575. Your number, sir, please. 24. Thank you. Okay, lot 13, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Unit 5, Mzini Izanga Estate, 90 Younger Close. This is absolutely fantastic. 10% commission, with a very, very nicely constructed residence. Subject section title unit is situated in a secure estate within Mslanga Rocks. In close proximity to Medicross and Mslanga, Mount Edgecombe Hospital, police station, schools, and other local amenities with ready access to the N2 freeway. It's a double-story sectional title property in a gated estate. Gourmet kitchen with a scullery. Spacious open plan lounge dining room. 3 bedrooms, all en suite. Main bedrooms opens up to a balcony. Double garage, direct access from the kitchen. Patio with enclosed garden. The communal pool is that for the complex, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, or is that, you have a communal pool there for the neighbors? All right. Okay. Let's see if we've got any other commercial on this one. Yeah. All right, it's a sectional title property. It's a well administered gated estate, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go. Make me an offer, please. Again, your levies, your rates are 4,000 per month. Your monthly levies are 1,883, which are very, very reasonable. All right, let's go. Who make me an offer, please, for Unit 5 in Mzini Izanga Estate, very upmarket. All right, let's go.
1 million.
1 million opening bid. At 1 million rand, the bid is a million. I'm selling a million rand. At 1 million rand, ladies and gentlemen. 1.5. At 1.5, the bid's in front of you on the right at 1.5. At 1.5 I have. At 1.5, the bid is 1.5. 2 million I got. At 2 million, 2.5. At 2 million 5. At 2 million 5 in front of you, 2 million 5 on the right. At 2 million 5.
6. 0.6.
2.6, 2.7, sir. 2.7 I have on the floor, madam, at 2.7. At 2.7 million, the bid is
0.8.
2.8, 2.9. At 2.9 I have. At 2.9. May I say 3 million, yes or no? At 2.9 million on the floor, here at 2.9. You've come so far, you've got this all together. At 2.9 million, ladies and gentlemen, come and say 3 million on the floor anywhere, or on the screen. At 2.9. At 2.9 million, subject to confirmation in 7 days. At 2.9, I'm selling for the first. At 2.9, I'm selling for the second. You bidding, madam? 3 million. I've got from the screen. Bidder number?
19.
Bidder number 19.
19.
Thank you, sir. That's solid. All right, 3 million I have. 3-1 I've got. The 3-1 on the floor, sorry. May I say 3-2?
No, out.
You haven't got the family chasing you. At 3.1 I have. At 3.1 million, there's a 3.1 I'm selling. At 3.1 million, ladies and gentlemen, I'm selling at 3.1 for the first. At 3.1 for the second. Perspiring, madam. Third and final call. I'm going out of 3.1, sold to buy another 22. Thank you, well done. Okay. Are you ready, sir? And the gentleman in front, too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, lot number 14. Again, 5% deposit. It's VAT. Again, it's VATable. It's a property at 317 Curry Road, Musgrave. Again, it is all part of a lot of newspaper reporting and everything like that. The block has been in the news for some time, so it's got prominence. Everyone is interested in this block, so you get genuine buyers here. First of all, I've got a letter here that I've got that I'm required to read out, ladies and gentlemen. We act for Save Our Berea, a public interest organisation which is primarily concerned with community issues affecting residents of the Berea. From time to time, SOB engages with the Equity Municipality, especially regarding town planning, rezoning of properties, unlawful developments, etc. The matter of immediate concern to SOB has been the development of 317 Curry Road, Berea, in respect of which our client has substantial evidence that the plans and rezoning relating to the development were passed unlawfully, and that there is a probability that there was corruption associated with the development. It may perhaps be appropriate for you to reach your own conclusions on the information which is being presented to you in this email. We attach here two various documents, the contents of which are self-explanatory. The unlawfulness associated with the development is clear from an analysis of these documents. We should point out that the report of the investigation and integrity unit was released by a whistleblower. The Integrity Municipality refused to release the report and continues to do so. In addition, it refuses to furnish details of the disciplinary hearings arising from the report. However, our client is currently in the process of engaging the new head of the municipality with view to persuading him to take necessary action to set aside the plans of rezoning given their unlawful and probably corrupt genesis. Okay, and then we go on, we point out to you respectfully that the lawfulness or otherwise of 317 development has serious implications. No one will buy into this development given the controversies surrounding it, except perhaps the applicant in the litigation proceedings. It is therefore important that you do your utmost to deal with this matter as independently as possible because sensitivities surrounding this development are significant. We draw to your attention that there is likely to be a number of other substantial claimants in the vicinity of the 317 development who have suffered significant losses arising from the depreciation in the value of their properties and the depreciation of amenities which they have suffered over the last 6 years. We have undertaken to provide some of these claimants with claim forms, and we will be indebted to you if you could furnish us with the necessary documentation in this regard. In addition, could you provide us with the following information? When is the first meeting of creditors scheduled to be held? When is the second meeting of creditors scheduled to be held? And what are the plans which you have in mind in respect of the development of 317 Curry Road? And given the documentation which we have given you, do you intend to report the unlawfulness of the development to the authorities? As you see the position, you are obliged to do so. We draw to your attention the provisions of section 400 and 424 of the Companies Act. If you intend to proceed with the sale of the property, please furnish us with timelines. Please will you ensure that the condition of sale respect to said property draw the attention of potential purchasers. The claims of unlawfulness associated with the development, so that if they proceed to purchase the property, they do so with due warning of the problems associated with the property. And please would you also keep us updated and copy to us at each of the steps taken in the liquidation process. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. We're very grateful. This letter was dated the 29th of October 2019, addressed to Mr. Kurt Canoe, ladies and gentlemen. Subsequent now, from there, we move on. Yesterday, as everyone knows, on the front page of the Lebanon was an interdict application submitted, which was launched to try and stop the auction sale today. The judge ruled against the applicants, and we are now proceeding with the sale. In respect of the actual notice, application will raise inter alia the following constitutional issues: breach of the doctrine of legality, the breach of the following constitutional rights resulting from the development at 317 Curry Road, namely the right to privacy, B, the right to access to information held by the state, C, the right to just administrative action, D, the right to dignity and to have their dignity respected and protected, E, the right to an environment that is not harmful to health or well-being, to have the environment protected for the benefit of present and future generation, through reasonable legislative and other measures that prevent pollution and ecological degradation, promote conservation, secure ecologically sustainable development and use of resources while promoting justifiable economic and social development, and the right to property, which includes a right not to be arbitrarily deprived of property, and the right to access to the courts, which includes the right to have any dispute resolved by the application of law decided in a fair public hearing. And three, we have constitutional issues arising as a result of unlawful or fraudulent processes which gave rise to the rezoning of 317 Curry Road and the passing of plans in respect of this development. Okay. Again, this is all part of the papers. Again, part A, interdictory relief. Currently take notice that the application will be made as a matter of urgency on behalf of the above mentioned applicants, being Saver Berea, Kevin Dunkley, Cheryl Johnson, an organisation of civic rights. Okay, this was served on Kurt Canoe, Brunette Leathern, E.T. Municipality, Deputy Information Officer, E.T. Municipality, Minister of Trade and Industry, the Premier of the Province of KwaZulu-Natal, the President of the Republic of South Africa, and Ian Wyles auctioneers. Okay, I come to the bottom of the list. Okay, all right, Part A, kindly take notice that the application will be made as a matter of urgency on behalf of the above mentioned applicants to this Honourable Court on the 25th day of August 2020 at 9:30. All right, or soon thereafter, as counsel may be heard for order the following. That the application for urgent interdictory relief in part 1 of the applicant's notice of motion is treated as one of urgency in terms of uniform rules 6 in brackets 12, and that the usual forms and time limits be dispensed with. The rule listed do hereby issue calling upon the respondents and any other interested parties to show cause, if any, to this Honourable Court on the 3rd day of November 2020 at 9:30 or soon thereafter, as the matter may be held by an order should not be granted in the following terms: that pending the determination of the review application and other relief sought in Part B of the applicant's notice of motion, the first, second, and eighth respondents are interdicted and restrained from selling or alienating or in any way disposing of goods by private treaty or public auction as development directed upon 317 Curry Road. First, second, and eighth respondents are interdicted and restrained from proceeding with the sale or auction set down on the 26th of August of the development situated at 317 Curry Road. The first and second respondents are directed to take all steps necessary to prevent any unlawful building construction work being carried out on the premises at 317 Curry Road. That the city manager directed to ensure that the applicants have given access to interview any municipal or town planning officials in connection with the current litigation, including the following persons: Mr. Mbuzu Mbogo, the head of CIIU, Mr. Raven Woodley of the Town Planning Department, and Madam Barbara Claire Norton of the Town Planning Department. 3, that all questions of costs are reserved for determination of the hearing of the review application, save that in the event of the application for urgent interim relief being opposed, the cost of such application be paid on an attorney-client scale, including the cost of free counsel personally employed by any party unsuccessfully opposing the application for interim relief. Okay, again, the first and second respondents are interdicted restrained from proceeding with the sale or auction, set down to the 26th. The first and second respondents are directed to take all steps to prevent this. Repeating myself, here. Duplication. Okay, again, paragraph 2 operates an interlocutory order which does not have effect of final judgment and is to operate with immediate effect pending the confirmation of discharge or discharge of the notice. 5. Alternative relief. Part B, main application. Further to take notice that the applicant intends to apply on a date to be arranged with the registrar to seek an order in the following terms. 6. That the decision by the third respondent to rezone the property situated at 317 Curry Road from GR1 to GR5 be and is hereby reviewed and set aside. 7. That the decision by the third respondent to approve the plans in respect of the development at 317 Curry Road be and is hereby reviewed and set aside. 8. It is declared that the rezoning and the approval of the plans in respect of 317 Curry Road are tainted with fraud. And 9. That the city manager of the third respondent is ordered to take the necessary steps to demolish the development at 317 Curry Road within 3 months of the date of this order. The demolition shall take place by way of implosion, or if that is not possible, by the quickest and most efficient means possible. 10. The third respondent is directed to supervise such demolition and to ensure that appropriate safeguards are put in place to protect the safety of neighbouring buildings of residents. 11. In the event of approval of the plans not being set aside, then the fifth respondent is directed to take such steps as may be necessary in terms of section 21 of the National Building Regulations to demolish the said property. 12. An order declaring the withholding of the CIIU report by the third respondent unlawful. 13. An order declaring that the consent of the owner as a precondition to access to building plans is unnecessary, and the third respondent directed to remove that qualification from the list of documents which are automatically and freely available, set out in section 14, manual of the third respondent. 14. An order directing the third respondent to include in section 14 manual categories of records set out below as being automatically and freely available, with a request in terms of PAIA being necessary. Agendas and minutes of the council, instructors and formal staff meetings, and those of its predecessors, excluding minutes and agendas which have been marked confidential. 15. An order directing the third respondent to include in the section 14 manual all the documents referred to in paragraph 160 of the KwaZulu-Natal Valley and Development Act of 2008. In accordance with the provision of section 15 of the Promotion of Access to Information Act 2000, Act number 2 of 2000. 16. An order directing the third respondent to take place and notice in the town planning section of the municipality in a prominent position, easily accessible and visible to members of the public, of all documents that are automatically available in relation to town planning matters. 17. An order directing the municipality to comply with the guidelines set out in Annex X here 2 in dealing with the review applications in addition to any other guidelines that may be prescribed by the municipality. 18. That the third respondent is ordered to pay the costs of this application on the scales between attorney and client. Such costs will include the costs consequent upon the appointment of the three counsel. 19. Alternative relief. Kindly take notice further that the third respondent, Alternative Uniform Rule 53.1, is required within 15 days of receipt of this notice to dispatch to the register of the Honourable Court and to the applicant's attorneys a record of all proceedings resulting in giving rise to decisions sought to be reviewed and corrected or set aside. Such documents to include full and abbreviated copies of every joint advisory committee meeting. 1.2. Transcripts of recordings of every joint advisory committee recording meeting. Full and abbreviated minutes of every town planning committee meeting. 1.4. Transcripts of recording of every town planning subcommittee meeting. 1.5. The 1917 plans for the building that had been erected upon 317 Curry Road, 1917. Interesting. 1.6. The full and abbreviated minutes of the meeting held by a town planning subcommittee to inspect the property upon 317 Curry Road. 1.7. All documents relevant to the demolition of the existing dwelling upon 311 Curry Road. Okay, but 317, 311. Alright. Further to take notice that the affidavits of Kevin Company, Cheryl Johnson, Sayed Iqbal Mohammed, Jeff Pullen, Lucas Martinez, Maya, Ayan Musa, and the annexes thereto will be used in support of this application. Take notice further the applicants have appointed Fatima Kurodia, attorney 29 Bellevue Road, Musgrave, Durban, at which address will accept notice or process in these proceedings. Kindly take notice further that the event respondent or any interested parties wishing to oppose the relief sought in Part B hereof, they shall, within 15 days of receipt of the notice of the motion, deliver a notice to the applicant's attorneys that they intend to oppose, and in such notice appoint an address within 15 kilometres of the office of the benches of the High Court, at which they will accept notice and service all documents in these proceedings. B, within 30 days after the expiry of the time limit, contemplated in Uniform Law 53(4), deliver any affidavit that such respondent or person may desire in answer to the allegations made by the applicant. And take notice further that if no intention to oppose the relief in Part A is given, the application for such relief will be sent down for hearing on a date to be arranged with the registrar. Kindly place this matter on roll for hearing accordingly, dated 20th of August. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Part A, the interdict to stop the sale was not approved by the courts. Part B obviously will be dealt with at a later date. Okay, that is respect of the plans and the actual rezoning. But in respect of the interdict, that there was no relief given to the applicants. Okay, respondents got the judgment, and we have to carry on with the actual sale of the actual property. Yeah, all right. I'll now go through the conditions of sale, which again will be quite lengthy, but again, it is necessary for this to be done so that everyone is fully aware in terms of the conditions that we're selling this property. All right, in Wyles Auctioneers of Level 3, Unit 5, Edson Business Park, 2 Shibushi Road, Riverhorse, Durban, in and after called the auctioneer, mandated on behalf and duly instructed by the joint liquidators for Serengeti Rise Industries Pty Limited, registration number 200-802735-307, title deed number T34345/2009. We intend to offer for sale by public auction to prospective purchasers certain fixed movable property more fully described as portion 1 of Earth 2230 and portion 1 of Earth 2204 Durban. In extent, 2230, the industrial area, 620 square meters, and Earth 2204, 122, 6 square meters, situated at 317 Curry Road, Musgrave. Here, Wyles Auctioneers undertakes in terms of what is herein set out and his mandate and authority granted to it by the seller to sell the aforementioned property by public auction on behalf of the seller to the purchaser on the following terms and conditions and according to the published rules of auction. The auction procedure. The sale is subject to the rules of auction as displayed and available on our website, www.ian1.co.za. 1.1. The rules of auction comply with Section 45 of the Consumer Protection Act, Act 68 of 2008, the Act, and with the Consumer Protection Act regulations. The regulations that have been published in terms thereof from Government Gazette number 34180 on the 1st of April 2011, volume 550, and any amendments thereto from time to time. 1.2, Section 45, subsection 2 of the Act provides that when goods are put on sale by auction lots, each lot is less than 0 to the contrary, regarded to the subject of a separate transaction. The auction will commence at the published time and will not be delayed to allow a specific person or any more persons to take part in the auction. Registration to bid at the auction. Anyone that intends to bid at the auction must register his or her identity on the bidder's record prior to the commencement of the auction. And such registration must meet the requirements of FICA, that's the Financial Intelligence Center Act 2001, in respect of establishment and verification of identity of the person and the person must sign the registration entry. 142, a person who attends the auction to bid on behalf of another person, i.e. on behalf of the company, must produce a letter of authority that expressly authorizes him or her to bid on behalf of that person. For a person who is bidding on behalf of the company, the letter of authority must appear on the letterhead of the company and must be accompanied by a certified copy of the resolution authorizing him or her to bid on behalf of the company. 1.5. The bidder's record and the vendor roll will be made available for inspection at offices of Ian Wyles Auctioneers during normal business hours without the charge of a fee. The bidder's record will also be available for inspection at the auction, that being the bidder's record being the vendor roll, ladies and gentlemen. In Wyles auctioneers have a trust account. All money due to the seller in terms of the rules of auction will be paid into this trust account for the benefit of the seller, minus any commission payable to in Wyles auctioneers. The auctioneer will during the auction announce the reason for the auction unless that reason is a normal and voluntary disposal of property by the seller. In that respect, ladies and gentlemen, it's a liquidation matter. I've been instructed by the joint liquidators to dispose of the property by public auction. 1A, the purchaser shall, upon the fall of the hammer, sign these conditions of sale. The purchase price will be as follows. A deposit of 5% of the purchase price shall be payable to the auctioneer on the study of the conditions of sale by the purchaser of 50,000, whichever is the greatest. That's in words, the purchase shall be the auctioneer's commission at the rate of 5% plus VAT, calculated on the purchase price of the property, which amounts will be held in trust pending acceptance by the seller. 2.2. It is specifically agreed that the commission is earned and payable immediately to the auctioneer on confirmation of the sale. All other agreed expenses and disbursements payable by the seller will be deducted by the auctioneer. Sorry, can we let us close the door there at the back? It's a bit noisy. Deducted by the auctioneer from any funds paid to by the purchaser and standing to the credit of the seller. The balance of the deposit shall be payable to the seller within 45 days of the starting of these conditions by the purchaser. The purchaser shall not be entitled to interest on the deposit. The purchaser shall pay the seller or the seller's conveyancer the balance of the purchase price. That's the difference between the deposit and the knockdown price. Within 30 days of confirmation of the sale, or furnish the seller to enforce that cleared bank, building society, or other guarantee acceptable to the seller for the balance of the purchase price free of exchange at Durban on the date of registration of transfer of the property to the purchaser is made. 2.3. The purchaser hereby authorizes the auctioneer upon acceptance of the agreement by the seller to pay over to the seller or its conveyancer the balance of the deposit, less disbursements, if any. Acceptance. The document constituting offer is purchased by the purchaser, which is subject to written acceptance by the seller within 14 calendar days, hereinafter referred to as the offer period, and seller at any time during the offer period. For the sake of clarity, the purchase offer is open to acceptance until 1700 hours on the 14th calendar day after the signature hereof by the purchaser, counting of 14 calendar days commence on the first calendar day after the date of signature hereof, and shall endure until the 1700 hours on the 9th of September 2020, being the 14th calendar day thereafter. 3.2. During the offer period, the seller or auctioneer may continue to market the property in the normal course of business as they may deem fit, and if consequent of sale, may take in one further and better written offer to the purchaser from a prospective purchaser to be submitted for the seller's consideration. The auctioneer shall advise the purchaser in writing, which may either be by telefax or by electronic mail, of any higher written offer, hereinafter referred to as a competing offer, which is received from any third party during the offer period. The purchaser shall, for a period of 24 hours, be hereinafter referred to as the auction period after transmission of the written advice of the competing offer by an auctioneer of the aforesaid, have the option to increase the purchase price offered by him in terms of this agreement in amount equal to the purchase price of the competing offer, but subject otherwise to all other terms and conditions of this agreement. If the purchaser wishes to exercise an option to match the competing offer during the auction period, the purchaser must do so in writing, in clear and unambiguous terms, with notice must be delivered to the auctioneer before the expiry of the 24-hour auction period. This written notice must either be handed delivered to the business premises of the auctioneer and a receipt signed in respect thereof, or may be emailed, telefax to the auctioneer at the indicated email telefax number. Provided that in such instance the purchaser must telephonically confirm receipt of the said mail, telefax to the business premises of the auctioneer as the onus rests on the purchaser to confirm receipt of the said notice by the auctioneer. 3.5. If the purchaser fails to exercise the option during the auction period, the seller shall be entitled and not obliged to accept the competing offer. Okay, should the seller, however, elect not to accept the competing offer, the offer contained in this agreement shall remain irrevocable and of full force and effect and open for acceptance by the seller until the lapse of the offer period as set out above. 3.6. Should the purchaser exercise the option within the option period and match the competing offer, the purchase price in terms of the agreement shall be increased with the increased amount. The seller shall be entitled upon the lapse of the offer period to accept this agreement at any increased purchase price. This option process is a continuation of the original process, and any sale thus concluded shall be a sale by auction. 3.7. The date of sale of the property shall be the purpose of this agreement. be deemed to the date of written acceptance of this offer or the increased offer by the seller. The auctioneer will at the sole discretion of the auctioneer thereafter notify the purchaser in writing of such acceptance by the prepaid registered post and delivery by email transmission or facsimile transmission. For the eighth, should the seller not accept the purchaser's offer, the auctioneer shall immediately repay to the purchaser any deposits paid by him, including any amount paid in terms of clause. 1 being commission. 3.9. In the event of the agreement requiring the consent of the master of the High Court in terms of any law, or the consent of the local authority, municipality to pass transfer, then this agreement, subject to such consent, be obtained in writing as soon as possible under the normal course of the conveyancing process. If such consent is refused or not obtained for whatever reason, then this offer won't last, and neither party shall have a claim against the other, arising herefrom. Possession, subject to purchase having complied with all obligations incumbent on him, possession of the property shall be given to the purchaser on registration of this agreement by the seller, from which date the purchaser will be entitled to rental, if any. Not be liable for payment of any rates, taxes, licenses, insurance, or like charges with respect to the property. On registration, all benefits and risks of ownership with respect to the property shall pass to the purchaser, and the purchaser shall insure the property and the improvements thereon for its full replacement value against risk of loss or damage by fire. Any rates, taxes, and other costs paid out subject to the said date of possession by the seller shall be refunded by the purchaser proportionally in accordance with the above. Paragraph 5, occupation. Occupation shall be given to the purchaser on registration of property with the purchaser's name. The seller, however, gives no warranty that the purchaser will obtain actual occupation of the property on the date provided, and the purchaser shall have no claim of whatsoever nature against the seller should actual occupation not be obtained on the date of possession of the property. 5.2. The seller will, within reason, assist the purchaser's expense as may be reasonably necessary and or required by law to assist the purchaser in obtaining vacant occupation of the property, but without the seller obtaining any liability to pay for any eviction itself, or obtaining any liability in respect of an unsuccessful eviction or in respect of any damages suffered whatsoever by the purchaser as a result thereof. Should the purchaser require occupation prior to registration, the purchaser shall pay occupational interest on or before the first day of each and every month directly to the conveyancer at a rate of 12% per annum, that's 1% per month, but prorated monthly, calculated only in the balance of the purchase price, remaining after deduction of the deposit, and any other amounts already paid by the purchaser towards the purchase price until the clause 2 above. Occupational interest will commence from the date of occupation to the date of registration of transfer paid monthly in advance without any deduction or settle. Existing tenancies, the property is sold subject to all existing tenancies, if any, to the best of liquidated knowledge. No leases exist. The purchaser shall be bound by the terms and conditions for existing leases of which he acknowledges he is fully apprised. Footstuds, the property is sold footstuds to the extent such it now lies without any warranty or guarantee whatsoever. Neither will the seller or the agent be responsible for any latent or patent defects. In this respect, ladies and gentlemen, the scaffolding will not be included in the sale of this property. In addition, the actual hoist that is utilized at the present moment for the various floors. So the scaffolding and the hoist will both be excluded from any sale.
And then exclude the decking too.
I beg your pardon?
Decking.
Well, the scaffolding and decking is
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, scaffolding and decking. All right, thank you. Okay, please, you are fully aware of this. Okay, so footstools. The sale is subject to conditions subject to specified in the existing title deed until such other conditions as may exist in respect thereof with which the purchaser has agreed to himself. The seller is not answerable for any deficiency in the extent of the property and does not profit by any eventual excess thereof. In the event of the description of the area of the property herein being different from that in the title deed concerned, the description of the area in such title deed shall be considered and incorporated herein. Okay, the purchaser furthermore acknowledges that he has acquainted himself with the situation, nature, conditions, deacons, extent, and locality of the property, and the seller and or agent shall be entirely free from all liability in respect thereof. If whenever appropriate in this agreement, unless the context otherwise requires, words signifying the singular number shall include the plural, and words importing masculine shall include the feminine gender. 8. Warranty, the purchaser hereby warrants that the procedure pertaining to the auction inter alia, registration of bidders, the reading of the condition of sale, commencement of bidding, and the due signature and completion of the condition of sale by the purchaser were conducted in a lawful and proper manner without any irregularity of any nature whatsoever. 9. The entire agreement and the attitude or extension of time allowed by the seller to the purchaser shall not, under any circumstances, be given or waive of the seller's rights hereunder. No conditions, stipulates, warrants, or representation whatsoever than those expressed provided for herein have been made by the seller and or agent, and this agreement to purchase shall upon confirmation hereof constitute the entire contract between the parties. Any variations, alterations, or additions to the agreement shall not be of any force or effect or legal validity unless reduced to writing and signed by both the seller and the purchaser. Transfer, the purchaser shall be liable for transfer costs, well, not this instance, if that to be paid, no transfer costs, only transfer duty. Alright, and other costs incidental thereto. Transfer shall be effected by the seller's conveyances within a reasonable time after the purchaser has complied with the terms of clause 2 hereof, that's guarantees, and after the purchaser paid all the costs referred to in the paragraph to the seller's conveyancers, which costs shall be payable on demand. Ladies and gentlemen, we will advise you of the actual conveyancers who will be effecting transfer due to be the successful purchaser. The purchaser and the seller undertake to sign all documents necessary to effect transfer of the property on demand, and the seller shall have the right to cancel this contract should the purchaser unnecessarily delay transfer of the property. Company to be formed, clause 11. In the event of the purchaser signing this agreement with its capacity as an agent for a company to be formed and the purchaser fails, there are 30 days from the date of this agreement to register the company having as one of its other objects the adoption or ratification of this agreement, or such company fails to adopt or ratify this agreement within 14 days after the date of its incorporation. When either of such events, the said purchaser shall be deemed unto the date hereof to have entered into this agreement in his personal capacity and as principal, and have acquired and assumed the rights and obligation of the purchaser under this agreement, in the event of such company being registered and duly adopting or ratifying this agreement, and said purchaser by signature hereunder shall be deemed to bind himself and binds himself to the seller, as surety and co-principal debtor in solidum with such company for the due performance by it as the purchaser of all the terms and conditions of the agreement. Clause 12, cancellation. Should the purchaser fail to comply with any of the terms and conditions of this agreement, within 7 days of dispatch of written demand, the seller and or agent on behalf of the seller acting on the written instruction of the seller shall, on such breach, be entitled without further notice to either A 1211, cancel the agreement, take occupation of the property, and have the property resold by auction or private strictly at his sole discretion. The purchaser then shall then be liable for all costs of such resale, any deficiency in price, which results therefrom, advertising costs,